Navasota, Texas. It's NOV Live. Now, let's start the show.
Hello and welcome to NOV Live. My name is Shelby Dumain and I'm your host today. NOV Live is the show where we talk about the people, technology, products that go behind NOV, and we bring that information out to you so you can learn a little bit about us. So welcome to the show. If you are watching this right now, we are live in the studio. We have a really excellent show for today. We have some really cool guests in the studio. Before we get to any of that, though, I do just want to say a quick happy International Women's Day. It's one of my favorite times of the year. I love seeing my fellow colleagues lifting each other up. And I know as a woman in the energy industry, I'm so proud to be part of this industry and proud to be working alongside all of my amazing coworkers. So happy International Women's Day. Love it. And now to get in the show, I did want to introduce a quick guest that we have. We have Ed Quach. He's Director of Service and Aftermarket. And I hear you have a trivia question for us today.
Yes, I do. Today's trivia question is, what is the most important step to ensure longevity and reliability in rotating equipment? The options are A, correct equipment sizing and selection, B, proper installation, commissioning, and training, C, accurate process information, D, lab testing and computer modeling.
Excellent.
Please add your comments or your answers to the comments below.
Excellent. We will reveal that question at the end. And I want everybody at home to give a big shout out, big round of applause to Ed, because it's not normal that I ask one of our special guests to do the trivia and to do the social side. So thank you so much.
Thank you
for doing that, Ed. and also, if anyone has a question on the show at any point today, how can they get in touch with us? Since we are live, they can actually ask that question. How can they do that?
Yeah, please add those questions to the comment box. I'll be reviewing all of them.
All right, awesome. Hopefully we can see some of those questions in the comments. Well, with all of that out of the way, without further ado, I want to introduce our guest today, our main speaker. We have Ed Wiggett. I knew not to say Wiggett. See, I got it right, but I still had to correct myself. But sorry, Eric. I did mess up your first name, though. We got Eric.
That's
Wiggett.
all right.
And can you tell me a little bit about your role here at NOV?
Yeah, so I started with NOV back in 2014. Actually, coming up this month will be my anniversary. And I started in a role, technical sales specialist role for the Chemoneer aftermarket business. I spent about 2.5 years in that position and then accepted a role to lead that team as regional service manager. And I carried out that role and led that team for about 6.5 years. And then just recently accepted the aftermarket product line manager role, where my primary responsibilities in this role is to increase the sales and profitability of our aftermarket and service business, and also develop and execute sustainability and revenue initiatives for our organization.
Right. Something I find really interesting about product line managers is one of my former managers, Michael Gaines. He was originally a product line manager, and he explained it to me. You're basically your own entrepreneur, your own almost small business owner within NOV. Is that kind of accurate?
That's right. I mean, my role is to work on what we're going to be successful at 5-10 years down the road to really grow this business.
Right. It's your job to be the one that really cares about this and really
right.
pushes it forward. And
really push the creativity.
But you have to have that where it starts at.
Right.
Excellent. And well, before we get into the topic, I also hear you have some shout outs to make.
Yeah. So we had a pretty fantastic year last year in 2022. So I just wanted to give a shout out to our Dayton, Ohio facility where we manufacture all our Chemoneer product line, and also our Houston, Texas facility where all our PC pumps from the Moino product line are created. Job well done last year. We had a lot of stuff to celebrate. So that's fantastic. Wanted to give them a shout out on the big stage.
Right. Absolutely.
And then also before we get started, I wanted to add in a safety moment. So safety is a huge part of our culture at NOV.
Yes.
And one of the big things that we believe in is stop work authority. So everybody, not just within NOV, but across the process equipment industry, has the authority to stop anything that they see as unsafe. And that just ensures that everybody goes home the way they showed up that day for work.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for doing a safety moment. I know I never even thought to do one on the show, but if I, go to a facility or go so often, it always starts with that safety moment. So I love that you kicked off the show with that. Thank you.
No problem.
Absolutely. And I think we might have mentioned we're talking today about fluid motions solutions, and but more specifically, we're talking about aftermarket services. Can you talk a little bit about what is the aftermarket and services? What does that mean to us as NOV?
So we're the face of the fluid motion solutions business.
Mm-hmm.
So our technical sales team and our field service and installation team, as well as our customer service team, are daily working with our end users and our sales channel partners in a multiple different situations that gets us direct face time with end users and our sales channel partners. So the way we conduct ourselves and the way we handle the pros and the cons that we encounter in our day-to-day really builds our reputation and our brand at Fluid Motion Solutions.
Right. And how does aftermarket and services fit in within the larger fluid motion solutions?
So we play a pretty broad role. So our core business is, when you think about aftermarket and service, you think about factory replacement parts, you think about repairs, you think about field service installation and on-site repairs, as well as commissioning and training.
Mm-hmm.
And we also are the portion of the organization that handles all our warranty program. So that's a huge part of the business. Nobody really likes to talk about warranty in most cases.
Right.
But the way you handle warranty situations really sets the stage for how you operate as a business.
Mm-hmm.
So we take that portion of the business very seriously. And our nature as an aftermarket and service business is we have a strong sense of urgency, which is required in the warranty realm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big portion of our business. The other areas that you may not focus on or think about when we talk aftermarket and service,
right,
is, for example, new product development and product design.
Mm-hmm.
So our group provides a lot of valuable feedback,
right,
to our product development staff and our design engineers for small changes that might need to be made to a current product line. And also, when we're developing new products, we take what we've learned from the field and apply that to make our products the most efficient and the most easy to maintain and operate in the industry.
Right. And didn't think about how essential that is to also have that input, not just at the beginning when we're starting it, but have that continuous improvement input kind of throughout the life of the product.
Yeah, it's very important.
Absolutely.
Another area is capital equipment bids. So when you think about capital equipment, you think about our commercial sales team, our regional sales managers, and our sales channel partners. But one thing we're increasingly doing a lot of is packaging our installation services, our commissioning services, our training services, as well as critical spares and digital monitoring type packages with those capital equipment bids. So that gives a full package solution to a customer. And that's really something we're striving for as we grow in Fluid Motion Solutions, is to really give a plant package solution for our end users that they can take advantage of from cradle to grave.
Yep. I was going to say, I've heard that phrase before, from cradle to grave. Can you talk a little bit about maybe like a real life scenario? What does that mean that we're able to, our capabilities that are able to take a customer from cradle to grave? What does that look like?
Right. So I'm going to use kind of a real life situation, kind of just go through how we would handle a call from a customer and kind of highlight all the pieces that it touches in our aftermarket and service organization. So a common call that we get pretty regularly is we'll get a call from a customer. They'll start to talk to us about an agitator, in this instance, that they're starting to see visible movement of up top on the drive end of the agitator, and we're going to get hopefully I'll try and keep this high level, but we can really nerd out on this
Right.
type of stuff. So, but they're seeing excess movement, and they're also starting to see an abnormal noise
Mm.
come from that agitator. So they call us up, and we get some background on that situation first and foremost, and we'll also ask them for a short video of what they're seeing.
Mhm.
And what we'll do with that video is we've got a in-house software that we developed to where we can analyze the sound from that video
Mm.
to pinpoint where that noise is actually coming
Wow.
from. So the conventional way of troubleshooting, say, an agitator when it has a noise is to take it off, take it apart,
Mhm.
and try and find the part that's wearing, right? Well,
Right.
this avoids all that. So
Wow.
we're getting answers on something like this, and if we can get a video relatively quickly, less than 24 hours, we've got a path forward.
Mm.
And in this instance, that sound analysis that we ran on this gearbox led to a bearing that's starting to fail in that gearbox.
Mm.
And that's more than likely attributed to that excess shaft deflection that they're seeing that's causing that
Mm.
visible movement that they can see from the drive into the agitator. So what we would do from here is we've got two issues to solve for this customer, right? So we've got a situation where we need to look at the mechanical integrity of the agitator to see why that shaft deflection is so bad. And we also, from the sound analysis that we ran, need to get that gearbox into one of our certified service facilities for
Mhm.
inspection and repair.
Yeah.
So at this point in the process, so we're about 24, maybe 48 hours or less in. So we've got a path forward
Right.
for the customer,
Wow.
a solution
That fast.
that quick
Wow.
in a situation like this. So we would get the customer a quote
Mhm.
for our field service technicians to come on site and do a visual inspection on the agitator and make the checks that we would always normally check in a situation like this.
Right. Which, and usually I imagine these situations, time is of the essence. I know from going to see facilities, that's what I've heard a lot is sometimes it's how can we solve your problem right now? And that's what they want.
Correct. And that's where the sound analysis has really given us
Absolutely.
a real benefit in that area because we can
Right.
really diagnose an issue pretty quick with that.
Wow.
And we can deploy field technicians pretty quick as well. So we would deploy our field technicians out to the field, and
Mhm.
what they found in this instance, as soon as they got in the tank, is they saw some ragging
Mm.
on that
Mhm.
impeller. So that can cause, so what ragging is it's just
Yeah.
and you'll see the graphic up there on the live stream. It's a fibrous material that gets into the
Mm.
basin or the
Mhm.
tank. It's pretty common in the wastewater industry.
Can imagine.
And it causes that impeller to become severely imbalanced. So
Mm.
that's what causes that shaft to deflect. And the result is they're seeing that movement up on top of on the drive in.
Mhm.
And in this case, it's caused the shaft to bend. So that's
Mhm.
another thing that we have to fix in the field through a process called heat straightening.
Right.
So at this point, we've diagnosed the mechanical issue. So we would move to remove that gearbox, get it packed up, and then send it off to a certified service facility that's in the area. So once that gearbox is repaired, it gets sent back to the customer where our field service folks are awaiting its arrival.
Mhm.
We would install the gearbox back on that agitator system. And then the final step to repair this certain situation would be to heat straighten that shaft back to factory specs.
Wow.
And then all along through this whole process, so in a situation where we're seeing a process issue, we'll partner with our customer
Mhm.
to kind of give them some recommendations. Like in this situation, we would, if they can't mitigate the ragging with, say, a Moino grinder or
Mhm.
some type of filtration upstream, then we can offer our RL3 technology, which is a ragless impeller technology that's used a lot in the wastewater industry.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's kind of a example of a cradle to grave type situation.
Right.
So we had to provide parts for that gearbox through one of our certified service facilities. You've got our field service folks involved, of course. We've done the sound analysis, so that's the advanced digital technology getting worked in there, all to find a turnkey solution through Fluid Motion Solutions for that customer, so they don't have to go anywhere else.
Right. That's amazing. It's a much more highly technical version of, I know, kind of, you mentioned like if you hear that sound or something, it's like when you're driving and you hear something that's not quite right, and maybe it used to be you then had to take your car, then they had to take everything apart, find the problem, but now it's almost like that sound analysis. It's like the computer chip in a car. It's like, oh nope, we can already tell what's the problem, take it in, get it fixed, and then you're
right.
back
So
up.
it pinpoints it. It's
right.
It's a quick answer to what is that noise that everybody asks you.
Yeah.
What is that noise that my agitator?
Do you ever
making?
get people trying to imitate the noise like at
Yeah.
mechanic shops?
Yeah, you definitely get that. It's a wah 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 noise, right?
Yeah, I'm terrible at. Anytime I try to describe what my car's doing, I'm like we're just gonna need to listen to it. Which is even cooler. You can send that video in this case.
That's right.
And get the sound analysis. That's excellent. And I always like to ask too. So what's the next steps? What's the growth look like? Where do we go from here as far as sustainability and whatnot?
So we've got 3 or 4 different things that we're really working on currently within the aftermarket group. The first one being training. So that's internally and externally. So we're investing a lot of time in training our internal staff as well as our sales channel partners. So the more expertise our sales channel partners are, the more efficient they are in promoting and selling our product. So some of those trainings would include product training, of course.
Right.
We've really been focusing on doing field training, so internally and externally again. So internally, our engineering staff, so our product design folks and our new product development type folks, we get them out in the field so they can, rather than working on designing things in the office or in the lab, they really get to get out and see an installation or a repair job and really get in there and get their hands dirty to understand what our end users and customers go through to work on our equipment.
Absolutely.
Leadership training is another big one internally. So we offer some pretty nice leadership training for our internal folks where they can advance their careers.
That's excellent. That's one that I feel like you don't always, when we talk about training, a lot of times you hear the technical side, but that really impresses me. I really love hearing that.
Right.
There's
So
the leadership element as well.
Yeah, investing back in our people. I mean, that just the result of having that expertise is improved culture, improved sales, profitability. It all comes from that expertise piece. So another area that we're focusing on is, and we touched on it a little bit already, is our advanced digital technology. So over the past 2 to 3 years, the digital technology piece for process equipment is really ramping up. I like to say we've kind of been at the forefront of it. That sound analysis technology is not something that's real prevalent right now, so it kind of puts us ahead of the game. But we also have advanced vibration analysis capabilities. So the sound analysis kind of pinpoints where that sound's coming from, but then the vibration analysis takes it one step further into the magnitude of the problem or when that bearing's going to fail.
Wow.
So you can really dig into how much life that piece of equipment has left or whatever the situation may be. Another piece of the digital is digital monitoring. So we have digital monitoring packages that we can put on our equipment, and that kind of touches on the predictive maintenance piece. So we're trying to push all of our customers towards having a solution available where they can be proactive for maintenance rather than reactive emergency situations. So that's hard on our end users primarily, but it's also hard on us internally too when we had to scramble an emergency situation. So if we can be proactive about those maintenance and those shutdowns and plan for them, that's fantastic. So those are the digital pieces that we're really pushing towards. Another one that we're pretty excited about is a commercial installation pricing tool. So currently, to get a installation price, or say we're quoting 5 pumps and 20 agitators on a capital equipment bid, right?
Right.
They've got to come to the field service group. We take a look at what's been quoted and we get them an installation bid or a commissioning bid or training or all 3. This commercial pricing tool will integrate with our design tools to where whenever you're quoting, like what I just talked about, agitator and pump type package, it'll give them an option based on what they've selected and the features of that equipment for installation, commissioning, and training. Just on every quote, they'll have that option. So that'll really streamline and get the word out of what our capabilities are from a service standpoint to really go after that package type solution that we're really after.
Yeah.
And then the last one is our certified service facilities. So we're really, I guess we're doing a relaunch, I guess you could say, for our certified service facility program. So historically, with the Kiminir and Moino product lines, we've had authorized service facilities, but they've always kind of been separate. So pumps and mixers,
Right.
they were never really integrated, but we have a lot of sales channel partners that do both as well. So we're taking that into account. And our certified service facility certification is not, I mean, it's not like they watch a PowerPoint and then we say, hey, you're good to work on our equipment,
Stamp,
right?
yeah.
It's, we go in and we do facility audits. We're doing safety audits along with those facility audits. And then we're doing classroom and hands-on training on the products that they'll be certified to work on. So it's an extensive training and testing program that they have to go through to get that stamp of NOV, Fluid Motion Solutions Certified Service Facility.
Yeah,
So we
high
want it to
standards.
be, we want it to be a mirror of an NOV factory service facility. So when they take their equipment there, they're getting the same expertise and treatment that they would like they're taking it to an NOV facility. So I'd say those are the four main initiatives that we're really working on right now to advance our expertise and our profitability as a business.
Absolutely. Interesting. And I always say, you know, I might ask a question. This might be one that someone has to reach out to y'all for, but how many of, or is there a kind of an estimate how many of those authorized shops there are? Where all those are? Is that something?
So that's a good question. So we did a deep dive on our install base when we were creating this. So we kind of have a heat map of where all of our equipment, the hot spots of all our equipment is. So we're really using that to get certified service facilities in the regions to where we can quickly service those large install bases. But there should be, I mean, when we get it fully rolled out, there should be a service facility close enough to where we can turn around and repair or rebuild, or even we've done in the past with our certified service facilities, having some stock on hand for some key customers to really turn around if they've got equipment that's crucial to their process. So those are kind of some of the benefits and how it works geographically.
Okay. Thank you. I was curious as you were talking. That just sounds so. I love hearing that relationship you have with customers. It's very evident that, like we said, that cradle to grave, you know, you're with them the whole time. I think that's very apparent in talking to you today.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely something we're really working hard to provide to our customers.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of, you know, talking to the customers, talking to the people, I wanted to make sure we give a chance for any audience questions that we have today. So I'm going to head back over to Ed. Do we have any audience questions for Eric today?
Yeah, we do. We have an online question. So Eric, how would NOV support my facility in the midst of the equipment breakdown? You know, my location is in Billings, Montana.
All right. So this kind of goes back. So the first step would be to reach out to your closest sales representative or distributor. So they work directly with us consistently.
Is there a way, I know we have nov.com/FMS. Is that somewhere if they didn't know their person for whatever reason? Or
Right. That would be the place to go. They could also go to Kiminir.com or Moino.com, and there's rep locators and distributor locators where you can put in your zip code to find your closest rep as well.
Gotcha. So they've done that. They've contacted their rep.
So this would be a situation where an emergency type situation where we would, depending on the nature of the failure, if it's say a gearbox failed, then we would utilize one of our certified service facilities. And we actually do have a Moino and Kimonir a dual certified service facility in Salt Lake City, Utah, which would probably be the closest one for Billings, Montana type folks. If it's a field type issue where we need to get out there and diagnose an issue, our field service technicians, we can deploy within, say, 48 hours in an emergency type situation. So that would be the first steps to get into a solution for that particular customer in Billings, Montana. But definitely, if they truly do have an issue, I mean, reach out as soon as you can. I mean, we can deploy some folks quickly.
Yeah, don't call 911, but call us.
That's right.
In that instance, not every emergency, I should say. Make sure to clarify. All right, Ed, do you have any other questions?
Yes, I got one more question. I am looking to repurpose an old agitator on a new process. What steps would NOV take to help me out with the solution?
Okay, so again, reaching out to your sales representative or distributor is your first step. But this type of a request is tailor-made for our aftermarket technical sales group. So all of our technical sales group on the aftermarket side have expertise with our design software. So the first thing we would do is get a serial number off that unit via the sales representative or direct from the customer to see what that agitator was designed for initially. And then we would also ask for the customer to fill out one of our data sheets, our design data sheets, which gives us all the information we need to know to design a product that'll fit that new repurposed application. And that it may just be where we verify that the piece of equipment that they have will work on that new process.
Right.
Or it'll lead to, we can tell them, hey, you're going to have a different shafting system, or you're going to have a bigger gearbox to deal with say it's a thicker process, more viscous process, something along those lines. And we can provide a quote for all those parts that are needed to convert that unit over. And we can also provide a quote to install all that equipment as well.
Okay. I just have another question. So we've had FMS on the show before, and you mentioned wastewater. What are some other, I guess, would you media, or what other things are y'all mixing? What kind of, I guess, areas?
So I guess
the
best way to describe it is, and when people ask me, like, what industries do we play in, or what do I do?
Right.
And I talk to them about our equipment. I kind of tell them that anything that you're really looking at, like the chair we're sitting in, the clothes you're wearing, all of that goes past a mixer or a pump at some point. So agitation, when we tell people that we sell industrial agitators, people are like, oh, what a kitchen-made mixer? We're like, no.
Agitators, do you just annoy people all day? Just kidding.
Yeah, so we play in multiple industries. So food and beverage industry, chemical industry, water, wastewater, of course. Mining is a big one that's heating up with all the rare earth minerals and things like that.
And I know food and beverage, hot sauce is one of them, right? I think we've talked.
Yeah, we've got a large project that is near and dear to my heart with the pepper mash industry as well.
Anything with hot sauce, near and dear to my heart. So I love that. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And I did want to say thank you to everyone who commented questions. If you have any other questions and you want to reach out to us, you can do that at social media at NOV.com. So if you know you're watching this on social media and you have a question, it's social media at NOV.com. And Ed is not quite off the hook just yet. We had a trivia question in the beginning, and I think it's time we give the people what they want. We give the answer.
Yep. So, let me repeat the trivia question again. What is the most important step to ensure longevity and reliability in rotating equipment? And the answer is B, proper installation, commissioning, and training. All
right. Thank you very much for that trivia question. I hope we got some people who got it right or enjoyed playing along. Maybe send the episode to a coworker and see if they can get the trivia question right or wrong. And with that is our show today. So I just want to say thank you so much to both of our guests in the studio today, Eric Wiggett and Ed Quatch. And thank you so much to our production team. Today we had Quinn Liu and Sage Hansen. and Amanda May as well. My name is Shelby Dumaine, and I was your host today. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you next time.